Rose, thanks for joining me today. So you are the founder of Parents for Great Iowa Schools, which is a parent advocacy group. So tell me a little bit, for those members that don't know who you are, I know a lot of them do, but what's your overall vision for the group and what are you trying to accomplish?
Great. So we are a group of parents, and we certainly are not an exclusive group. We say Parents for Great Iowa Schools, but we're all encompassing. We have grandparents, our just neighbors to our community schools, business owners, community members, everybody is welcome in our group. And really, we're focused on being a voice for students in public education. And really, our goal is to take the legislation that comes out at the Capitol and break it down into a language that's just very approachable for people that are outside of the profession, and just make it very understandable and personal for them. And so that in turn, all of these parents and grandparents and wonderful community members can in turn advocate at the Capitol for our students.
Excellent. So how long ago did you found the organization?
We started as Parents for Great Iowa Schools about 2 years ago, and but we were kind of a smaller organization before that, just under a different name.
So, as you know, at our Day on the Hill in January, which you were there, we collaborated with you guys and invited parents to attend along with school board members and superintendents. So, how do you think the parents there benefited from that training?
It was so great because it really takes what we consider a two-step process where you have to educate parents in order for them to advocate, because the legislative process can be so intimidating. And that is it can be so intimidating with our busy lives that you just won't do it then. And so we see it always as we will educate our parents first and then ask them to have an action item. And so what was great about the ISB combined day with Parents for Great Iowa Schools was we spent so much time educating our parents, and then we asked them to go advocate, and they could do that so much more confidently because they had the skills and the confidence to do that.
And also, don't you think it helped that we kind of partnered parents and school board members that were from the same district? Some didn't even know each other, and yet they met and learned together.
It was super helpful because it really is a partnership, Tammy. It has to be. Parents can't do it without learning what some of these local priorities are from their school board members.
So hopefully we can collaborate again next year.
Definitely.
So what advice would you give on how to best engage a community member? And you were kind of saying earlier your group is not only made up of parents, it's grandparents, and even citizens who don't have kids in school. So talk a little bit about that.
I really think that there are people that are just ready to do it. If not, they're already doing it. And, we have our school boards, but we have all these other maybe more informal organizations through our districts, whether it's a SIAC committee or a booster club or a citywide PTA or just an individual school PTA. Those parents and community members, and even beyond that, you could have chamber groups. Like in Des Moines, we have the Des Moines Partnership, which has an education component. So I think it's taking these people that are already active and engaged in conversations about our schools and taking it to that next step, like inviting them to be an advocate for you and providing them again with that education so that they can go and do it confidently. And that's what our group does. We will help these organizations or anyone that wants to engage with that education component and helping people become advocates.
Yeah. You've been advocating and traveling across the state for several years now. So talk about what types of advocacy have you found that parents are most interested in doing?
Most interested in doing. Well, I think the most common form right now are people are emailing their legislators. I think people are really, really comfortable with that. And I think that's what they're doing the most. And so what we're trying to do is kind of push people to even get more personal with that and really look at advocacy as a relationship like you would have with your neighbor and how you would cultivate that relationship. And it's not just going to them with your opinions, but it's always being kind of this constant communication. And you can do that via email. You can do that through a legislative forum. You could go to a legislative forum and then you could follow up with an email. Like, I didn't get to talk to you, but I was there. So they know that you are just always going to be providing them input on education. It's building a relationship and having that reputation that that's what you two are going to talk about and being consistent.
And all about that personal touch.
Yes, personal touch.
As you may know, talking with legislators can be pretty intimidating. Maybe not for you, but
Oh,
at
definitely
least when you
still
started
is.
out, maybe. So what steps can boards take to ensure parents are not overwhelmed when they speak to legislators?
That's a really great question. I think you can model the actions together, like at our IASB conference, and this could happen in your local community at a legislative forum. So it doesn't need to be here in Des Moines. Just my example is from that day, where you can model what it is, how it is to talk to them, and how to bring up those issues, and to just make sure that before you start talking with them, that your parents have those stories.
What have you learned since founding Parents for Great Iowa Schools?
Well, I think first that it takes a village, just like in every school setting, it takes a village. And just a couple questions, and it brought out all these people that care about public education, and we're just quite a team moving forward. So that's very humbling and wonderful. And I really believe that everyone in our communities wants strong public schools, whether you have a child in school or not. We want our community schools to be really strong, and very often they're the center of our communities. So to not see them as strong is just such a reflection on our communities. And so I really feel that, but I feel people don't always understand the process and what happens at the district level and what happens at the state level. And so it helped us refine our mission and our vision and the work that we do, that we need to help people understand so that they can in turn voice their concerns or their wishes for their strong community public schools. So, yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like it's been a great experience for you so
Yes,
far. And
it's
we're
been
lucky
great.
that you decided to found this group a couple years ago.
We didn't know what we were starting.
Well, thanks for taking the time to come in today and talk with me.